My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
I'll get on to the conversation, something that happened last week, and how the CLOSAG have written a communique about a letter about it, asking for some punitive measures to be taken. But yesterday, just before I went to bed, somebody from Abosokan, because I grew up partly in Abosokan as well, and I grew up in that Abosokan area where we could go to Opongo Alasa, we could go and find alumi and copper, go and wait, even though we didn't come from a poor home, but we just were adventurous. We knew those who were doing affairs. If you go to Abosokan and ask them who does affairs, they know, and all of that. So we're looking at all those things. Then my friend called me and says, you have to say something for us because the budget that was read does not really affect us the way we want it to affect us. I say, okay, what do you want me to say? He said, oh, the electric vehicles that the minister is talking about, he's even talking about the electric vehicles that relates to commercial business. And that's for those of us in private business and those who have their private vehicles, the tax holiday will not affect them. I said, okay. Then he said, if that happens, people will lose their jobs. If that happens, the mechanics or fitter, as they call them in local parlance, will not find jobs to do. If that happens, the people who come to park our stuff in and out, in the morning they park it out, in the evening they park it back in, they will not have jobs. Their families, their relatives, all our nephews and nieces who depend on us, blah, blah, blah. I say, okay. I say, so what do you want me to say? He said, oh, just tell the minister to take the taxes off. I said, boss, were you not the same people at Abosokan who put monies together to support the campaign of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia as vice president? He said, yes. That's okay. Then I said, were you not the same people at the advent of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government in 2017 that reduced prices to give an indication that somebody else was inflating the prices and somebody else was ruling us badly? So we had to buy spare parts at very exorbitant rates. He said, yes. I said, so the people you gathered money for to support their campaign and the people for whom you reduce the prices of spare parts, have you ever bothered to go into a conclave with them to ask them that, why are you doing this to us? You are embarrassing us. They say we talk, but they don't listen to us. Spare parts dealers. The same spare parts dealers who put money together to support the campaign, they put money publicly together. They announced it publicly, and they gave it to the then opposition. Now in government, they gave the money to them to support their campaign. The same set of people reduced the prices of spare parts drastically in celebration of the victory of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So how is it that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia are still in power, and then now the prices are going up, nobody is listening to them, and they are now calling media to come? Did they give the money to them? Did you give the money to the media to go and present to the campaign office? Did you tell the media that you are going to reduce the prices, or you reduce the prices and ask the media to come and cover? I asked him those questions, and he was quiet on the phone, listening to me. What he said to me as a brother, I cannot say, but he used some expletives. I cannot say them on air because my uncles and my aunties will call me. My mother will call me herself. Let us be careful, because the over-politicization of issues is what will drown us in this country. And speaking of politicization, play the video of Mr. welcome party at the finance ministry from Mr. Kenoforiata being welcomed after I read that budget with a bag, green bag, baluti that we're told cost more than $4,000. Play for me. People who don't earn $4,000 per annum were clapping for him. Play.
Johnny's Bite. On Sunrise, Johnny's Fight.
So these are staff
Johnny's Fight.
of the Ministry of Finance. And you know how I've complained about party people working in civil service, in the security service, protocol people who are connected to party people working in these places, and the real civil servants who are supposed to be in the middle. Guess what? Earlier this year, they were asking for neutrality allowance. These people who are gathered there, obviously showing partisanship, were there asking for neutrality allowance. And they were asking for neutrality allowance for us to pay them. Show Mr. Bampo. Mr. Bampo has written a letter. I will read that to you. But show him. He's the leader of the pack. And he's not happy. CLOSAG, they went on a strike because they wanted neutrality allowance, because they said that as civil servants, they had to be neutral. They were asking for neutrality allowance. Now they gather to welcome the finance minister, whose company makes more money whenever he advises us to borrow, and the nation is stuck in debt. Fact. When you talk about it, they say, oh yes, that's correct. But is it legal? The same people said, I will protect the public purse. They ask you that what the finance minister and his people have done, is it illegal? I say, oh, it is not illegal. Is it moral? I don't know.
Johnny's Fight.
Whenever the finance minister and his team advises us to go for loans, right? To go for loans, he makes money as transaction advisors. We go at a loss because we have to pay the loans over time. Fact. Now they are singing Yedin Kunim Yediko, Yebese Dibium. You remember when the Apia Kubi led committee, the Apia Kubi led defiant members of parliament, Eugene of Subi, all of them, over 100 of them, they came together and said, we want to see the back of Ken Ofori-Atta. They said that in parliament, that we will not participate in the budget hearing, reading, debate, and approval if Ken Ofori-Atta stays and Charles Edouboahin stays. Charles Edouboahin has since been sacked.
Johnny's Fight.
But Ken Ofori-Atta remains. And another budget has been read. The first budget that they said they won't participate, that's 21st in November 2021. They said they won't participate. 2022 has passed. 2023 has passed. He's still there. He's there. He has not gone anywhere. So when the people sing Yedin Kunim Yediko, it's because Mr. Ofori-Atta has triumphed. Yedin Kunim, what job Kunim. And these MPs told us that it is because of, put a CLOSAG letter for me. These MPs told us that it is because their constituents told them to come and say that they want to see the era of Ken Ofori-Atta end. Then when the president called them to the meeting at Alisa Hotel, which the vice president, I told you, refused to attend because of the squabbles they have in cabinet, they maintained that party first. In fact, the party even wrote a letter to that effect. Has the NPP party written a notice or a letter about the unruly behavior of some hoodlums calling themselves party executives who besieged the studio of UTV?
Johnny's Fight.
Then they finish and come and tell you, we are protecting press freedom. Nipaya Cobra. This is a press release, 17 November 2023, CLOSAG. To all media house, civil service must reprimand finance ministry staff for cheering Oforiatta after budget reading. Kwabena Donko, that's what he says. Said the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOSAG, since 2017 has issued series of press releases and even wrote officially to the presidency condemning the appointment of personal assistants who were made to encumber civil service positions in the Ministry of Finance and are paid better remuneration than that of the ordinary civil servants. Fact. They bring party boys and girls, they put them in the position, they give them vehicles, they give them money, they make them travel, they give them better per diem, and they don't respect the civil servants. Some of them don't even know how to do the work, but they have been brought there, and the civil servants have been cowed. You think I'm joking? Go to every ministry in this country. You have public relation officers who are civil servants, and then aside that, you have spokespersons who are paid better than the PROs. Go and check. Again, there were several apparatchiks and goro boys hovering around the same ministry on a daily basis seeking political favors. No wonder the Ministry of Finance has worshipped and praised, was worshipped and praised on his return from Parliament after presenting the 2024 annual budget. Honorable Dr. Kwabena Donko, ranking member of the Employment Committee of Parliament, condemned Ministry of Finance staff for chairing the Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta, after the 2024 budget, as cited in a video clip. CLOSAG would wish to state that even though there were officers at the Ministry of Finance welcoming the Minister of Finance back to his office from Parliament House, Honorable Dr. Kwabena Donko did not remember that the menace of appointment of apparatchiks and numerous personal assistants had been harped by CLOSAG. So CLOSAG is now defending himself by CLOSAG. If he had, he would not have presumed that all the cheerleaders in the video were civil servants. But they are there. They are employed, Mr. Bampo. Lawyer Bampo, they are employed. They are there. Bawumia, they are there. As if we're doing some praise and worship in church. Suffice it to say that parliamentarians are voted into parliament to enact laws. Where such laws are being violated in their presence in parliament, CLOSAG expects the parliamentarians to exert their power and nullify such violation. Parliamentarians are not supposed to enforce laws. Parliamentarians are supposed to enact laws. You are a lawyer, sir. The laws are supposed to be enforced by another body, not parliamentarians. They are supposed to enact the laws. Boss, you got this one wrong. They are supposed to enact the laws. Again, now it says a case in point in the law enabling MMDCs to collect property rates, which was submitted by Minister of Finance in the 2023 budget without any amendment to the law. When budgets are read in Parliament, they are debated, amendments are made, and it is done, boss. I like you. It is not interesting to note. Is it not interesting to know that the administrative procedure for collecting property rates is being reversed to the status quo to enable MMDCs to be responsible for the collection of the property rates in 2024? Government got that wrong. I mentioned it here. We have expected the MP for Peru East to ask for parliamentarians to be disciplined for failing to perform their duties and for allowing the Minister of Finance to usurp their authority. In this murky environment, no attempt should be made to sacrifice the ordinary civil servant. If the Minister of Finance on his return from Parliament after presenting the 2024 budget got his apparatchiks, personal assistants, goro boys and foot soldiers to cheer and praise him, now who caused harm? Did they ask we? We they ask you, boss. We they ask you. Yes, you are responding to Kwabena Donko now. But the reality on the ground is that those apparatchiks, those goro boys, they exist. This morning, some are taking their bath to go there. You find a lot of them, they go to the office and do nothing. And the people who are employed, who were interviewed, who wrote aptitude tests, who have gone up in their ranks and have served diligently by dint of hard work, they have no work to do. I said, go to the ministries. There are PROs and then there are spokespersons. Who speaks for who? When the political matter comes up, the spokespersons come and talk. And sometimes they don't even understand the subject matter that they are talking about. And this is how we have politicized all our state institutions. The other time, somebody told me at Gihok that they had brought a whole desk there and they were registering NPP party people and they put it on the management page. I've been told not to share what's about. I've shared that here. They put it on the management page at Gihok.
Johnny's Bite.
That they are registering NPP people and that if you also belong to another party and you have the avenue to get people registered, you can also come and put your desk there and register. What it means is that if I'm there at Gihok and I work there, and I don't know if that has happened in many other places, and I work there, and I don't belong to the NPP, and so I do not go and register, then I become a target. Wow, what are we turning our civil service and state institutions into? Partisan political institutions and declaring losses. You can be related to the president or the chief of staff by marriage or by whatever it is. When the courts call you, you will answer, you appear. We must stop this rubbish. It must stop. Now, this morning, before we go into the community voices, there's a gentleman who has donated 1,000 bags of rice.
Johnny's Bite.
And trucks of plantain. I just want to give him plaudits. 1,000 bags of rice and plantain. This morning when I got here, I said, hey, 1,000 bags of rice and plenty plantain. Plenty plantain. Plantain for ampesi, plantain for cocoa and beans, plantain for gobe, plantain for life, plantain for everything. So we want to thank them. We're still in our quest. And all of this is going to the Volta region, the victims of the dam spillage, parts of Eastern region, etc. So God bless him, and God bless all of you for also bringing your things. Call me 055-924-2717.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.